Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the highlight of this year. This has been something which we've been looking forward to doing for so long.
The highlight that no one has to see for the rest of the year after
exactly
tonight.
No
yes,
more
brilliant.
of us for the year. No, that's great. Well, we are delighted to be joined tonight by Sera Crowe, who is an ambassador for Ukrainian wine, a PhD in chemistry, a lovely person, and thank you, Sera, for joining us.
And here to help us with pronunciation. Fantastic.
Thank you so much for the invite. It's an honor to be here and spend this evening together before Christmas. What a festive time together.
No, absolutely. So for anyone who's joining us for the first time, we're doing Wines of Ukraine, and welcome, and it's great to see you. We do have our Slido, so you can scan on another device. You can go to towtc.co.uk/taste, or you can scan the QR code that Mr. Taylor's about to pop on the screen somewhere.
Oh, yeah, am I? Okay.
Yes.
No, I haven't got one.
Yeah, so you've got to go there. So go to Slido, or you can go to Slido and put in the code 349652, and then you can taste along with us. So what I'm going to say is, let's get wine number one in the glass. And while we've got wine number one in the glass, Sera, if you just want to introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do, the Ukraine Wine Company, and kind of an overview of what we're going to do tonight.
Before she does that, though, I've got to say, Dobry večer, dziękuję za to, że przyszli.
That's amazing.
Vaguely, that means good evening. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Oh, I was going to ask her to translate in case you got it really wrong.
Your hamster is no.
I did understand. So, well done. It's not an easy stuff. Yeah, well done.
Good. Well, let's leave it there. I think perhaps, but.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me, and welcome everyone. I really appreciate that you spent this pre-Christmas evening with us. And my name is Sera. I am born and raised in Ukraine. I have PhD in chemistry and diploma in wines. I'm teaching WSET courses in WSET School London, and I am part of Ukrainian Wine Company and Ukrainian Wine Ambassador here in the UK and worldwide. We have a very unique company because we're not just buying wines from Ukraine and bringing them here. All of our small team are Ukrainian raised, and now some part of them are refugees and part of them are still living in Ukraine and coming to the UK. But what is most important is that the head of our company is the head of Bakush Winery, which you will try. And what we are doing, we are not just buying wines. We are taking wines from the best producers in Ukraine. We have extensive tastings. We bring the best stuff here, and then we just share with you stories. We bring winemakers. So we are literally your little link between producers and British wine appreciators and British wine connoisseurs. That's what we do.
Excellent. Thank you. No, that's great. Well, I hadn't realized the link with the Bakush winery, but it was one of the standout wineries that I remember from London Wine Fair, and so I was delighted to see this. And this is a blend, one of the most fascinating and, dare I say it, slightly out there blends of wine that I've ever had. I couldn't fit them all into the space on the tasting card, so it was.
Yeah, we have a little slide, maybe slide number 5 or something with some information about it. But yeah, again, Ukraine has quite a lot of history and everything, and the wine number 1 is coming from the southern part of Ukraine. We have quite several wine regions. We will talk about history a bit later, but I think we're a bit thirsty, so it's time probably.
Yeah, let's have a taste.
Have a little taste, and then we will have a look what we had. I will also pour together with you. So if you want to go to Slido, I will be excited to see it. And oh yeah, I can see already some stuff. So yeah, it's a blend, and this is quite experimental. It's not exactly the field blend like we think about it. Usually field blend means that all the grapes are growing together. You're just picking them up at some time, hopefully at perfect ripeness, and you just make wine. The problem is that if you have different grape varieties, you will probably have different ripeness, and that's when things get a bit funny. This is field blend only in terms of different grape varieties, but vinification. So the winemaking and picking was made for all separate grapes. They were all picked separately, and then they were fermented separately, and then they were made into a blend. And I think it's it's a nice start to pretty much any party. Sometimes we all think that we like complex wines, but I think sometimes we want something nice and cheerful and something which will not make us too moody and like, oh my God, what do I have here? But just enjoy and pair with pretty much any food. And this is like what I think Artania is. It's your party, lovely, lively, high acidity, cheerful wine.
Budmo.
Oh, he's got
Cheers in
a whole
Ukrainian.
list.
Your
Cheers in
Ukrainian is
Ukrainian.
amazing. Budmo is cheers in Ukrainian. We use it a lot.
I think it should be used. No, I think this is great. Well, there's some wonderful tasting notes coming in. Everything from smoke to zesty lemon, white currants. That's a new one to me. That's fantastic. This is absolutely delicious, isn't it?
So as far as the grapes here, is it different vineyard plots, or have you got lots of like rows in the same vineyard that are kind of next to each other? How does this kind of come about?
These are all like small plots, and they are all picked up when they are ripe, so it's not like the same pickup time. All different rows, and again, like winemaking in Ukraine, we will go to history, but we are extremely advanced now. We have like some wineries are consulted by French winemakers. Everyone is traveling a lot. Here in Bakush, there was like quite many people from like outside who were doing like different things and brought quite some exciting grape varieties. We will not try all of them, but for instance, you can find in Bakush probably the only Pinotage outside of South Africa, and Timorasso, which goes a little bit here, and Timorasso like it grows apparently amazing in Ukraine. It makes wines of such a quality that when my friends from Italy were trying these wines, they were like, oh my God, now we will not go back to Piedmont, where Timorasso is from, because Ukraine is doing it a bit better.
Yeah, Timorasso is a brilliant grape. A few years ago when I was at Vinitaly, like a Timorasso was my standout wine of the entire show. And you don't see it very much in Italy, let alone anywhere else as it is. So it's such a cool blend of things that, you know, grow in other places. You know, it's got Albarino in there, you know, Arcatatelli, which you would expect.
Chenin Blanc, you know.
But you know, the first ever Arcatatelli I had was from New York.
What?
New York Arcats.
Interesting. Thank you, John, for the comment. I'm happy that you enjoy it.
That's great. Well, so we have a food pairing from our expert food pairer here, Finn. He says he doesn't know much about what the kind of oysters are like that come out from Ukraine. So some Carlingford Loch oysters on a half shell with a dash of lemon and Tabasco, matches with the salinity and sapidity. Yeah, I mean, I was tasting a muscadet the other day as part of that, and that classic muscadet with oysters thing. I think there's a lot of that sort of similarity. I guess there's a little bit of lees aging going on this, perhaps, but when you're bringing together so many different things, perhaps you still get some of that texture just from the variety that you're seeing. But Paul met you at Wine Alive, which is great to see.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
The Bakush Winery, it was 2010. So I think it's important to sort of get this sort of timeline of Ukraine into our heads of like sort of, you know, when things were changing and what's all going on with the world of wine in a very complicated time. As I know the moving borders between Russia and Ukraine and have been very challenging over the few years, and obviously the Holodomor and things that have happened. But when I visited, I think it was about 2002, and so it was just after the fall of the Soviet Union, and it was an absolutely fascinating experience because I'd been to Prague and I'd been to some of the Western cities that were you know, closer to Europe, and Ukraine felt very, very foreign to me at the time, and it was a very interesting trip. And I can't quite remember where I was going with this, but yeah, we stayed in a hotel in Kiev called the Hotel Turista, and we still had a lady at the end of every corridor who was logging as people went in and out of their room, as they had been doing in the Soviet era. It was fascinating. But of course, the effect that the Soviet regime had on wine growers as they all became the state property. What's the easiest way that you could describe what happened to, you know, what was there before and what happened under that?
Yeah, I think we have nice slides which we can use because, like,
Yeah.
I know that Ukraine is not associated with like old winemaking country, but apparently there is quite a big history behind, and the history which actually we ourselves are now revoking and restudying and researching in the like in the archives and stuff, because it was all hidden, especially during the Soviet Union. I think it's next slide, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
And next one.
Okay. Oh yes, here we are.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah, something happens
Next
here
slide,
with
please.
the pictures.
Did you
Yeah,
mean?
let's yeah, like I think maybe, yeah, like, so, you know, sometimes presentations look a bit weird. Like there were some nice pictures, but let's stop for a second that like first wine was made in Ukraine, and we have absolute evidence about it around 8th and 7th century before Christ. And as I said, really interesting, because like many countries are saying we're making wines for centuries or for like before Christ era, but how can you actually know it? And this is what like happened in Ukraine. You can actually find those ancient little grape seeds being like incorporated in stones, and you're like in like kind of fossils but for grapes, and you can make a DNA analysis and you can track it more or less, like not exact year obviously, but you can definitely say it was like 7th century before Christ or 5th century. So we found those in Crimea. We also found quite some amphoras, and what is even more exciting, everything that I've mentioned before was happening at the Black Sea. And obviously, you know, like that time, Black Sea is a place where like all the ships were going and all the ships were leaving. This is a place of communication of country with the rest of the world. What was very exciting that we found, and that's the only picture that survived from my original presentation, this like little ancient knife and it was not at the Black Sea, it was at Carpathian Mountains, like it was like at Zakarpattia region that is close to Carpathian Mountains, so like western part of Ukraine, quite far from the sea. And obviously that time, like around 3rd century BC, probably we will not think about people were making knives just to make them and sell them somewhere like across Europe. Probably they did grow grapes, and we do grow grapes. It's one of the emerging region now as well. So this is kind of the start of it. And then Ukraine was drinking wine very happily. It was like Kiev Rus was extremely successful. It was a big country before Moscow even appeared. It was like Moscow was somewhere there around the swamps, and Kiev was a big city, but it's extremely successful. We have very funny stories. If you can go to the next slide, please. It's like my favorite part. That like we have ancient tsars of Kiev Rus, and when we start to have Turks like coming, and they had a different culture, and they were trying to make our tsars to drink horse milk because this was kind of holy drink, and we have like properly like written evidence that like tsars didn't enjoy it. And when finally the treaty was made, Turks allowed us to drink wine. They were like, now you can drink wine because this is what you're more used to. And we have pictures and like, it's absolutely fascinating. But yeah, Ukraine is extremely agricultural, and growing things in Ukraine is, you know, it's our bread and butter, and even more than that. So winemaking was growing, we were doing quite good. With like industrialization, it expanded to the east as well, or to the east of the country. And apparently in 1900, we got a Grand Prix at the Paris Expo. For one of the wineries that was the first one being destroyed by a Russian invasion in 2022. It was completely destroyed. All the wines and all the vines could not be like vineyard will not be possible to use anymore, and winery is completely done. But this was one of the oldest wineries in the Black Sea region that got like this huge contribution, like this huge like acknowledgement of extremely high quality wines. It was Riesling apparently, and it was at Grand Prix at the Paris Expo at that time. But crazy. Again, like
we were still growing. The Black Sea is just down sort of to the right of this the southern part of the map here. So a lot of the wines that we're finding are along this Black Sea coast. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite diverse region. I just recently made a big presentation on the whole Black Sea, and it's not like, you know, you have many different things, but the Black Sea in Ukraine is quite diverse region. You have very diverse soils, a bit more sandy and kind of estuary-like on the eastern part of Black Sea. and a bit more like rolling green hills and some lakes and stuff on the western part, and different soil combination, hence different grape varieties. We will go to there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like around 1950s, Ukraine was quite scientifically advanced, and we developed quite interesting crossings. And crossings is like when you combine two grape varieties. It sounds easy, but before you make decent wine, it's probably 20, 30, 50 years time. It's like quite long research. We will try today one of the Ukrainian indigenous grapes and crossings, but it was like everything was pretty promising before the Soviet Union properly kicked in, and we got prohibition. We got co-op systems that absolutely ruined the whole paradigm behind Ukraine. Ukraine was always extremely agricultural country, when one family can grow loads of goods to sustain themselves and also to sell a lot. And co-ops in Russia and Soviet Union were more about, you never have any ownership of whatever you're doing. You work at one part of the field today, tomorrow you're at completely different place and completely different culture and stuff like that. It was drastic. And also during prohibition, loads of wines were pulled. And after prohibition, Georgia became like a place for high volume, cheap wines. It influenced Georgia a lot as well. They were still doing good stuff, but for themselves, but bulk wines were coming to the whole of Soviet Union, and Ukrainian winemaking was like kind of suppressed. And what was left was also kind of high volume. Grapes were picked up, however, brought somewhere to the winery, completely different part. And we do know that grapes don't like traveling. Grapes don't feel good when they travel. And it was quite sad till the end of Soviet Union.
I love this. I love this poster on the right here. Yet, stop it.
Yeah, that's quite iconic.
Excellent. What are people thinking of wine number one? I'm just going to pull up the tasting notes. This is great. Look at this. Refresher sweets on the nose. Surprising complexity. Gooseberry. The code for the for the Slido. Lemons for your face. This is brilliant. I'm loving it. I've not seen sultanas on a white wine before, so let's see if I can get that. But I think, for me, it's almost like it's quite close to that Muscadet or a Chenin Blanc as well from just in terms of on the nose. But there's just a lot more going on in the mouth.
I just think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a great wine for anyone and everybody. It's easy drinking. It's got nice fruit. It's got balanced acidity. This is, and I'm saying this in the middle of December, so it's probably the wrong one. This is a proper patio wine in the summer, isn't it? It's
absolutely. Oh yeah.
With it, drink it, and drink some more of it.
Yeah. But I very much like the oyster thing. Thank you, that person who said it. I'm sorry, I missed the name, but like oyster thing is amazing, and oysters are very popular in Ukraine right now. Odessa is growing beautiful oysters.
Oh, fantastic! There we go. So that's one to check out. Should we move on to wine number two as we carry on our journey through Ukrainian history?
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
I appear to have an empty glass because it was so delicious.
Let's do that. And yeah, like it's interesting because it kind of goes along with my story, because we are trying the first crossing of today. We are going to Sucho-Limansky. If we can move maybe to the presentation, and I will show you what is Sucho-Limansky and my little visual of it. Next one, please.
Okay.
And maybe next one again. And next one. Yes, here we are. So this is my little visual of what is Sucho-Limansky. But yeah, it's a crossing of the grape varieties that we all know very much, Chardonnay, and grape varieties that probably majority of us doesn't know at all. Plavai, which is one of the far relatives to Muscat. So we do expect a bit of like this florality coming out here.
Yeah. It's really there.
Very much so. It's quite sort of there's perhaps a little bit of skin contact on the nose. I'm not sure if that's there, but it sort of reminds me a bit of some of the skin contact wines.
This one is like a funny winery. If we can move to the next slide, please. I can show you pictures of the people who are making this wine. So this is one of the owners of the winery. The winery name is Biologist. It's interesting that Sucho-Limansky, it's not an easy grape variety to pronounce, but it like the name comes like, if you can translate, it's probably something about dry estuary, because Sucho is dry and Liman is estuary in Ukrainian, and it comes from the place on the shores of Black Sea, when you have quite many rivers joining the sea, and hence you have quite some estuaries. But this guy from Biologist Winery, he is picking up grapes close to the Black Sea, and then his winery is close to Kiev, where I'm from, which is quite different climate, but he is the first low intervention person. And again, we don't talk about funny natural wines. He did have a little sniff and hopefully a little try. But he is doing like what works for him. So he takes some approaches for low intervention, and he is he's the most creative winemaker, I would say, in Ukraine. He always has something to surprise us with. So this Sucho-Limansky did have spent a bit of time on the lease. If we can move to the next slide, please, we will see a bit more of geeky information if we have any geeks here who want to know a bit more. So we had a bit of cold maceration, which means that grapes were pressed, but fermentation didn't start. It's not an orange wine in its essence, but exactly as you mentioned, it has a bit of this like phenolics and like a bit like depth in flavor that we can find. And this is what I personally see in this wine, but please use Slido and tell me what you feel on your nose and palate.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm always a little bit nervous just because of some bad experiences with natural wines that I've had. When I pick up a wine to my nose and I get those, like you say, the phenolics, the smell and the flavor of the skins that's coming through, I'm never quite sure. But this is really, really good. And I think it's just nice to be able to showcase some of these more naturally made wines that still actually taste delicious.
I think the interesting thing about this as a natural wine is obviously we bring the bottles in and then we pack them up and we test the bottles for, you know, how they taste, and the guys packing it, whether it's us or, you know, the warehouse or whatever, they get a reference bottle. And then if I'm not packing myself, if it doesn't taste like the reference bottle, they'll come and get me and go, okay, that's not the same. And a lot of the times, if you packed a natural wine, you would expect them to come to you with every other bottle and go, that's different, that's different, that's different. Yeah. This is a natural wine that has a level of consistency, which is, I think, we need to get rid of that camera, which I think is a really, really important thing, because a lot of time, you know, I've had an ongoing joke. It's like, if you find a bottle of natural wine that you like, don't buy another one because it won't taste the same. And that's what a lot of natural wine has been like and still is like. This is a level of winemaking that has consistency, even using the biodynamic, the natural kind of techniques, which I think is massively important. Natural doesn't mean you don't do anything. Natural means you do the least amount you need to do to make great wine, I think. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
Who are the two people on the front of the label?
This is one of them is the guys that you've seen just now, and the second one is the second the second owner. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And it's got this great little stamp that says handmade on it as well. I've got to turn that off.
They're amazing. We have another wine from we have many wines from them, but one of the most iconic ones you can see at our website. It's Ukrainian blend, and it was previously just the label was Ukrainian flag. But what we have now, one of the wines we had before from 2022, they didn't have labels and they had to bottle, and the war started, and they made this Ukrainian flag using tapes, yellow tape and blue tape, and they hand write everything on the labels themselves.
Wow!
Absolutely, it was sold. Maybe some of the bottles are still present in Selfridges. I'm not sure. We don't have these bottles anymore, but it's absolutely fascinating. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I think that I think that's why many people stepped back from using the word natural, because many people associate it with something else and moved to low intervention. It's not to hide the truth. It's to show that we did as little as we need to show what we wanted to show and to show this grape and this wine, but we still did a lot of work. It doesn't mean that we're just hands off and whatever happens.
Quite right too.
So
And we got Daria saying that she tried the 2022 vintage of this. So in that we obviously had presumably aged and got a little bit of that deeper color and everything to it. So that's very cool to be able to see that.
So outside of the desire of wanting to do something different and something cool and something whatever, why take Chardonnay and cross that with something else? Is there problems trying? Is Chardonnay a difficult grape to grow? Is there disease pressure? What would be the reason to take something that everyone in the world knows Chardonnay and cross it with something that's probably obviously less known and is probably a harder sell in the commercial things in the commercial world?
I think it was like again, like Ukrainians are very shy. So when they are interested in something, they are just digging really deep. And I think it was one of the experiments. But first of all, to improve your aromatic profile, we all know that Chardonnay is not aromatic grape varieties, and they wanted to make a bit something else, and also to make something that will live and be happy in the Black Sea conditions. And they can be a bit challenging. It's not Mediterranean Sea at all. It can be quite cold. It can be very wet. And apparently what they did was kind of thinking even ahead, because now when we are all dealing with climate change, we found out that Sukholimansky is very drought resistant and actually is very happy. It's not, it doesn't stop ripening when temperature spikes, and it's not accumulating as much sugar and doesn't drop as much acidity as Chardonnay likes to do in warm climates. And hence, yeah, like it's really successful so far.
Fantastic. We got some great comments. Actually, I'm just going to quickly bring up George's agreeing about patio wine. We could have 2 bottles of wine, number one, without realizing. I'm with you on that. But yeah, wine 2 is a shock after wine number 1. Wine number 1 is a kind of commercial style of wine, but with that's not saying that's in a bad way at all. But
wine number 2
really
is
growing.
more of a wine that you want to have a discussion about and get a little bit deeper into, and and that's great for wine. Not all wines need to be that. Oh, the bottle's numbered as well.
The bottles are numbered. This is bottle number 1187 of 2200.
They like to do
this is
stuff.
Not big production wine at all. And of course, we do have a tasting, a pairing suggestion here. So I think we've challenged Finn a bit here with this one. So a chestnut mushroom creamy pasta with sweet corn, garden peas, and why not add some truffles in too? Well, why not?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I get really hungry here now.
Yep, welcome to our tastings. But yeah, I love this. This is absolutely delicious. Now I've got to bring
food
up
samples to
slide
pair
up,
next.
honestly, what? Look at this.
Lovely. Oh, I love it.
And I think
I love lanolin. It's cute.
As I say, on a lot of these tastings, we can turn around and say a wine is as complex as we want to say it is. You've just got to look at that list of tasting notes, and if you go in the WSET world, the amount of different clusters that are being, seen there is absolutely amazing. You've got all the citrus, you've got the tree fruits, you've got the tropical, you've got, and then
beeswax.
But then you've kind of got those, the different. You've got the apple, and then you've got the baked apple. You've got apple pie. There's lots of, everything from the bright fresh fruits to the tropical to the baked to the sweet feeling things, the honeysuckles, the aromatics. It's got a little bit of everything, and every time you go back to it, you go, there's something a bit different. It's brilliant. It's a really kind of cool wine. I really think if you put this wine in front of 10 people and ask 10 people to write their tasting notes, you get 10 different tasting notes.
That's what we want.
That is what we want. Well, I'm going to say this is Igor Petrenko, was it?
Exactly, yeah. Like the picture you've seen before, it's Igor Petrenko.
Yeah,
he's the main winemaker, and he was not a winemaker at all. Like, why he started to make it, he was importing wine for many years, and at some point he's like, I want to make something nice in my amazing country, and that's what he does. And another great, if we have another tasting, you absolutely must try what he's doing in Kiev and growing in Kiev, and it's aligoté.
Wow. Goodness me.
And it's like, I showed it to some, like not on purpose, but I showed it to some winemakers who apparently worked in Burgundy, and they said it's quite like there is a lot of typicity of Aligoté about what he's doing, but he has different styles, not only one wine. And yeah, like it's and he is saying that like in the next like 5-10 years, at least 50% of his wines will be coming from Kiev, which is central Ukraine, and they will include Aligoté.
I mean, that's fascinating. But I mean, it all makes sense because I mean, where you were talking about in the Zarkarpatia mountains, you're so close to Hungary and to the Tokaj region there, and Slovakia. We tasted some of their wines a couple of months ago, and they were brilliant as well. But Kiev, you're inland. You're up towards the north of the country. You're heading more towards these kind of foresty regions. So does he? Are they generally grown by the river, like the Dnipro?
Not exactly Dnipro, but again, like this part of Ukraine is quite hilly, and there like it's not Dnipro necessarily, but you have many rivers that are joining Dnipro. So yeah, we have everything we want. We have like not too much moisture, but we have enough to support of all the worms coming up, plus climate change. But in general, I say that like we know so much now about grape growing, and Ukraine is so generous about it. And we have like beautiful draining soils here in Kiev. So you can just use all of this knowledge and make wine.
I think it's fascinating. I one of the things that I noticed, again, I've only been once, and I was not there for very long, but I felt that it was very interesting to see there was a big cultural difference between the elder generations who had spent their most of their adult life under the communist rule, and they were a bit lost. These people were little bit lost after. They were quite stuck in their ways. They were a little bit lost, and then beneath it, you had this bubbling up, this energy of we're free. We've got the chance to do things and explore and experiment and do all of these amazing things that we can do. And seeing the this wonderful, starting in their little garages, making wine and just trying to do it at small scale and building it up. I think it was fascinating to see this young generation already starting to come through and say, my goodness, like, what can we do now?
I'm so sad to hear now like this, because I really want, like, you did literally catch that, like you called that period when it was happening. I'm so sad that you didn't have a chance to travel there in like 2020, 2022. You would see how quickly it grew. Before war, and even now during the war, Kiev is the hub of creativity. Not Kiev, Ukraine in general. You have so much creativity. You have absolutely fantastic food, and it's not only about Ukrainian food. We have absolutely fantastic like Italian food, international food,
Sushi,
like top notch, honestly. Like they bring in chefs from there, they study like to the grounds. It's not like like it's amazing, and produce is fantastic, but also you have absolutely outstanding art, and it's quite popular in Ukraine now to pair wine and art. So you have quite creative labels or little postcards happening like as a collaboration between artists and winemakers. Absolutely fantastic fashion, and I'm so happy to see that like you did catch like this period when
I know it was
all about the burst
history, but I've just been astonished at the rate of improvement. I've friends that have gone over and been in Kiev since, and it's barely recognizable from those days, and it's come on so fast. But yeah, I hope that I can go again one day very soon.
Absolutely, we will do it. I will organize.
So, that sounds fantastic. Yeah.
Why number 3?
Why number 3? Yeah, let's.
It's time.
We're going back to Bakush. So,
and this.
This is Bakush Winery, and this is Svetlana Tsibak, and she is extremely important person, not only as the head of Bakush Winery and the person who brought those wines to the UK when the invasion started, but she is the head of a fine wine producer organization in Ukraine. So she is making many things happen, and this is extremely interesting and important. That's why her picture is here. It was more animated. I'm sorry, I didn't know exactly how it will work. So it had like all the birds flying and everything, but now we see only the final part of the animation here. But I will try to explain what you see on the background on the left. Why Bakush? Bakush means like in some dialects, it means stork. Apparently Bakush winery is standing on the biggest bird sanctuary in Europe. It's nowadays not as busy as it was before in terms of birds, because it stands right on the borderline, on the front line. So you have quite some missiles flying all the time and drones and stuff like that. It is quite challenging at the moment, especially this vintage. Many wineries were informed that they're their target for invasion and shelling and drones. They were very strongly asked and suggested not to do any movements around, but it was harvest, and people were like, oh well, we will be careful, but this is grapes and this is our life, and you can sit at home and a drone will fly in and it will kill you, so we will just do what we do and hope that we will succeed. And harvest happened, new vines are planted, and this is absolutely astonishing part of modern Ukrainian winemaking.
I think the photo that we put up on the front of our brochure, this was one of the photos that really dug home. This was the very early days of the war, and the Sloveno winery went out into the vineyard and found a Grad missile embedded right between their vines, where they might be wanting to put their tractor through to do these things. And their response was to, well, obviously we've got to keep carrying on, but they turned it into a wonderfully little comic thing. When they released their wine, they called it Grad Crew rather than Grand Cru. And after this missile, and a fabulous picture drawing there of the sparkling wine popping on there. But I think that's it. Just sums up that attitude of we will deal with the risk. We have to carry on. What choice do we have? We
Exactly.
And
maybe a bit like less fear sometimes, because we are scared of so many things, but grads are flying and not exploding, so maybe it's not exactly as technologically advanced, and we should be courageous and keep going.
Precisely. I think it's one of the things that a lot of people who, perhaps after several years of the coverage on the news, people get a bit war weary, and they don't really understand quite how the nature of it has changed, as it went from this what Putin thought was going to be this fast-moving, simple, few-day operation, and has now obviously reached a bit of a stalemate. But what I don't think a lot of people have seen is the dramatic increase of the number of drone attacks that are going on, the sheer numbers that are now coming into Ukraine every day. It's astonishing. And like you say, it's that random aspect of what do you do if you hear one of these Iranian drones coming. I mean, it's kind of too late to do very much about it, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not only Ukraine, as we know.
Yeah.
So probably something to think about as well for us here too.
Yep, absolutely. And it's what happens in Ukraine will affect the rest of Europe. So that's why we need to keep supporting the efforts. But anyway, let's get back to this wine. So now we're back in the Bakush winery. Should we pull the bottle and have a look at this? But we're in a very, very different style of wine. We're carrying on
properly orange
wine 1, 2, 3. And for anyone who's been, oh no, I can't say that because that will spoil the question in the quiz later.
Yes.
So I'll stop that. I will pull up the extra camera. Oh, what have I done? Okay, sorry. But yeah, so our Katsateli, a Georgian grape natively.
Yeah. So I would say that in Ukraine nowadays, there are 3 main movements. First of all, we have indigenous Ukrainian grape varieties. And also we have international grape varieties, and we make it in international style and also in very funny, completely different style. And we have Georgian grape varieties. It's our very friendly nation to us. We are brothers in everything. And we did a lot together, and we have many people who we are brothers. So we are working a lot with Georgian grape varieties, mainly Katsateli and Separavi at the moment. It's not the biggest part of production, probably not more than 10%, but when we do it, we try to do like fine style. And yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think about this properly orange, but hopefully not too funny wine.
See,
I love it.
Orange
I love
wine. Once again, it used to be a difficult
it
wine for
was
me
hard.
because, how do I say, they were too orange. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
This, and they were orange for the sake of being orange. And it was a case of, if I make it more orange, it's more orange, and
yeah,
it wasn't approachable. It was, you either loved it or you hated it, and there was no middle ground.
But I almost think it was a bit Emperor's New Clothesy as well, because I can't, you know, unless you're having it with some kind of food that's going to cut through those really ridiculous, you know, it looks like a whitish wine, but there's so much tannins in there. You need to scrape your tongue. Yeah,
but this is brilliantly balanced.
This is great.
It's, you know, the color. It's, you know, and I think that's the thing. I think orange wine has got its name because how it used to be. There was so much skin contact. You know, it doesn't need to be orange. You know, we need to go with skin contact wine. It's skin contact wine. It's not orange wine. It's really not.
But this is what I love about this is 6 months on the skins, and I think that is down to the fact that our Cacciatelli is a grape that is it was almost designed for this. It was bred for this. This is how it evolved in Georgia. I mean, they've been making it for 8,000 years there, and I don't think there's many white grapes. And there's grapes where you give them 6 days on the skins and it's too much. And then there's our Cacciatelli, which can cope with this. But yeah, I think there's so many of these little tasting notes that you see, like the orange peel is that first one that really comes in, isn't it? Like that, it's not as concentrated an orange peel flavor, but lots of people saying things like more tangerine than orange. I think that's great.
If you want, maybe we can move to my slides and you will see what I found there, and maybe like you will find it as well, because I think like next one, please.
Well, that's the first one.
Oh, that's the first one. Sorry. Yeah, right.
And then there will be this one. For me, it has quite a lot of quince and papaya. It has like a little bit of this stuff, but I absolutely agree with you. And I think what like Bakush was trying to make a bit different, even though it had quite some skin contact, but they were using not traditional quevries, which are kind of like clay vessels that are put underground and sealed for the time of for fermentation and maturation and whatever. What they're using in Bakush is a bit more modern approach. So they use amphoras, they're upright standing, and they use 2 different clays. One from Spain, and it's more like red clay with a bit bigger pores, so you have a bit more oxygen coming in and out. And then they use white clay as well, which is a bit more like substantial and like gentle, like moving of the wine inside because of its shape and stuff like that.
That is really interesting. Well, I'm going to say molodets.
Your Ukrainian is evolving. I have a feeling we will finish in Ukrainian.
It's going to be running out very soon, I'm sure. But
yeah, he's 2/3 of the way down his list. There's not much left. He'll be recycling it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I'm fascinated. I was fascinated when I saw this Spanish clay going into it. I hadn't come across that one before again, so it's just another indication of the kind of level of innovation that's going on in there. And you have to innovate in today's wine world. You have to be open to standing out. What's the point of this is just another Chardonnay, it just happens to come from Ukraine? Let's use the intelligence and I think it's one of the reasons why the British and the Ukrainians have been such good allies since the beginning of this. We have quite similar outlooks on the world. We like to I always would say, like, we look back in British history, the British are were always very good at kind of coming up with a slightly strange solution to a problem, and it wasn't the way that anyone else in the world would have thought of it. It's slightly quirky. Like, for example, in the Second World War, we decided we got all of these heavy armored German planes that are coming over to bomb us. Let's make a plane out of balsa wood instead. And and nobody in their right mind would have said yes to this. And yet you're doing this. Why would you choose Spanish ceramic amphora for making a wine. Why not just do it the same as the Georgians? No, let's do it differently. So yeah, innovation is quite clearly at the heart of this, and I think it's great.
This is much more of a food wine. This
Oh my
is,
word!
You have to sit in it. This is for me, if I had, this isn't something I'd have a glass of and then another glass just kind of sat in the bar. This is a perfect sommelier wine to pair with food, to do interesting things with. But so versatile. There's so many, because it's not overpowering. It could go with something lighter. It could go with a fish dish, something like scallops with samphire, where you get that little bit of saltiness, that salinity, but also with something a little bit heavy. If you had something with like an olive tapenade, there's enough power in there to do it. So it's really versatile, but it absolutely screams out that you want to have a little something to eat with it.
Do you see it with turkey?
Oh,
and trimmings?
That's a good question. That would be
my Christmas Day wine.
Your Christmas Day
we'll have to wait for the quiz for that. We'll have to wait for the quiz.
That's very interesting. I like that.
I can see that. Like I like, to be fair, I like different things with turkey. Like people go, oh, you should have like a big heavy like Chateauneuf de Pape at Christmas Day. I'm like, no, it's too much. You want something lighter, something fresher, something,
But it's got
something that you will drink the whole day.
Yeah, you will be drinking this is a very good point. And I think yet if you were to go for some whites, they would just get completely lost, because it's a bit of a flavor overload, because you have your turkey, you have your heavy sauces, you have your cranberry, you have your roast potatoes, your pigs in blankets. There's just so much going on that it needs to have a bit more. So yeah, I could see that working really, really quite well.
Absolutely.
Not one I've ever considered before. Perhaps I will take a bottle of that over to my parents when we go over Christmas Day. Brilliant. Let's have another look at this. This is wonderful.
Marmalade. I love it.
The people at home
you're on fire.
On form tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Form tonight. It just shows the level of interest and the level of style that, and I think there's sometimes people go to a new region or a new country. I say new. It's not new. It's new to us. It's relatively new, and people go just to be something different. And the wines can be boring and flat and not exciting, but it's different. These wines are different, but well made and exciting and great, and you can see it from the tasting.
Let's pop some comments in the chat. I mean, have you been exploring amber wines, orange wines before, and is this something you like, or is this the first time you've ever tasted one? And what do you think? It's such a different experience, and I'm waiting for our food pairing taste from Finn. So,
so do we think it's time to move on to a little bit of red?
Yeah,
is a good plan. Well, I'm still enjoying this, but yeah.
You've got another glass. You can put that to the side.
I could do that, couldn't I? Yeah, I'll do that.
I'll save that for later.
Excellent.
It's not finished evolving.
So now
I will change my glass in a second, but I'm still with you guys. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. So now we're moving on to the more international classic grape varieties here with a Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's very interesting. So one of the first reds that I tried from Ukraine was a Cabernet Franc, and
interesting.
It was interesting. It was really interesting because Cabernet Franc can have this super green kind of bell pepper, methoxypyridines for our geeks in the chat. That sort of character, which if it's not quite got ripe enough, it can dominate it. And if it is just a really nice sort of subtle background note, it can be so refreshing and beautiful. And they'd got the balance wrong on it. And so I was a little bit kind of nervous. And then I came back the very next year and I tried a whole bunch of, that's strange. What's going on?
I can hear you, but I don't see it. Perfect. Go back. Yay.
I'm just worried we lost you there, but we're all good. But yeah, so the quality of
next Slido, please.
Next Slido, please. We've already got a Chris Whitty comment. Yeah, so
right, Daria wants an orange wine tasting next year. I like the idea.
Do you know what? I think it could be good.
We could do a skin contact.
A skin contact. So tasting. Yeah, absolutely. Because I think obviously it's a slightly divisive style, but I've never, other than going to some of the natural wine fairs in London, which I've only done once, I've never had that chance to do a sort of a kind of a let's go across the ranges. Are they all this it's very bit easy to tar them with the one brush, and as we can see from that, they're very different. So
anyway, let's get back into
very
Cabernet.
drinkable orange. Orange wines can be a hit or miss. Yep, I can't disagree with any of those things. And an orange tasting next year. I think that's a good shout. Push us out of our comfort zone. Come on, let's do it.
Terry's chocolate orange.
Terry's chocolate orange. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to bring back up your presentation because I'm assuming that should I move the slide on?
Might be, yeah. I think it was more about like this geeky part of Yalpuch rather than Cabernet, but I will share the story. This will be our next wine.
Yeah, that's.
But I'm very happy to share the story about this wine because I very much want to hear your thoughts on this one.
You go that one.
Oh yeah, there's Grand Valley. Well, there's Grand Valley. So the question of just trying to find the. No, we don't. Maybe don't have the Cabernet, do we? I should have looked through this beforehand. Sorry. Okay, but yeah, this is Grand Valley.
Yeah, this is like one of the wineries that we are working with right now, and they're apparently one of the oldest one in the new modern Ukraine. They have many interesting wines. They have a lot of traditional method sparkling wine, and unfortunately, we were trying to bring it into the UK, but our car, like our lorry, was robbed, and all of those wines
I heard this story. This is outrageous.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think you should share this story and tell everyone why they need to buy lots of Ukrainian wine. So, and if they find any Ukrainian wine for £2.50 at a car boot sale, don't buy
that. Yeah. Like long story short, it was stolen at the CCTV car park just when lorry was waiting, having rest before going to the bound and unload all the wines. We have all the footage. We saw people and they didn't know what they're doing. They took all the sparkling wines from different producers. They opened cases. We did know, we found opened cases, so they were checking what they take. And when we published everything on our social media, one of our guests got in touch, and they bought a bottle of Ukrainian wine at car boot sale, and we know exactly that it was from that car because it was the first time this wine was coming with English label. Before it was always with Ukrainian. We always had many questions like, what is this wine and what does it mean? And it was the first time it was coming with Ukrainian. And if you could choose the bottle to sell at car boot sale to be tracked without even doing anything, this will be that one, and it happened. So if you see anything, don't try to stop people, but let us know, and we are trying to find those bottles.
Yeah, that's terrible. But I wish them all the best of luck in finding that one.
Thank you.
Joanna has not had an unoaked Cabernet Sauvignon before.
I'm very excited to hear your opinion because this is my personal win with my team. We had a big tasting. We just brought this wine. It's second delivery, and I was like, we need nice, fruity, easy red wines in our portfolio, and Cabernet Sauvignon is usually not nice and easy and fruity. It's usually big and moody and yes, I am here, I will do stuff. But I was like, this one is crazy and we have to take it. And I was the only one, but somehow it is here. So let me know, what do you
almost
think?
more like it's Chilean or something, isn't it? It's that very
soft. It's very ripe. It's
chillable red. Cabernet Sauvignon can
That's
do it.
not what he's read. So yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
it would like
not,
a surprise.
Yes, it would not be on my list of chillable reds. Cabernet Sauvignon would not be top of that list. But this
Pinot
absolutely
Gamay.
is. This is very, very drinkable. And it feels very, new worldy, South American-y in style. And that's just a very tarred entire region with a brush that's it's kind of like that. But it's very drinkable. It's, the tannins are so low and balanced, integrated. It's brilliant.
I'm happy to hear that. That was my kick on it, something good that doesn't cut too short. And I'm very excited for the first time to see so much sour cherry rather than only black currant and blackberries
and
as a tasting note.
There's not many Cabernets that you can go, I'm just going to have a glass of Cab. And you can just have a glass of this.
Like a flurry. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
That's interesting.
You don't. Is that like Madonna song?
like a flurry.
No need for a
Carbonic
single.
for the very first time. No, that's
So I'm
not
very
do
impressed.
that
Did you see that Kathy's landed in Sydney with her tasting pack?
one. Oh, right. I did not. Sorry, I missed that
Did
one.
you? I'm guessing you took.
Oh, just landed it. Oh, that's right. So we have people joining us, complete with a tasting pack from Sydney. Well, welcome.
Sydney. I am going to Sydney for my MW studies in
Kathy. Meet up
January.
with Kathy. Fantastic. Well, that's a great place to go. I was gonna. Shall I pull up the camera?
What's interesting, and I'm just gonna, and I might be completely wrong here, but if I read those tasting notes, I wouldn't pick Cabernet Sauvignon.
No,
if
no,
someone said this is what I'm tasting, I'd be
Exactly.
in the Malbec world, I'd be in the Merlot world maybe, but I wouldn't be in Cabernet Sauvignon. You know, it's not got the greeny bits. It's not got the stalkiness the bell pepper that you expect.
Well, yeah, like I was mentioning from that other one. So the Cab Franc, but yeah, it's
delicious.
It's delicious. It's great. I think.
Oh my God, you're just making my day now. I will share with my team and I will be like, I told you it will rock.
and like we said with the South American comparison, Kathy makes some Cabernet Sauvignons in Argentina, and I think that's great to see, isn't it? That we can talk about Ukraine and Chile and Argentina in the same breath on the Cabernet, which is very cool.
Venison borscht.
Venison borscht, yes.
Bit dear though.
We have some great chefs here.
Excellent. Kathy's tasted 2 of tonight's wines at a diploma tasting in October, which is great. But I think just let's pull back to that. Like you say, the tasting notes, they scream out sort of youthful, gentle, low tannin wines, and so they must have been so gentle with the extraction, not to pull any of so much of that. But it's still got a good color to it. It's fascinating winemaking there, and there's just ask more questions than it answers, doesn't it?
Yeah, they do a little bit of like cold soaking.
Mhm.
And I think in general, Ukraine like tries to manage. I think that because as we often see that like Eastern European wines are usually like big and like heavy tannins and everything, and Ukraine was following all the advices from a wine industry and like trades and everything. And I think now like red wines extraction is a big thing in Ukraine, not to over extract, to make it as gentle as possible. And people are working like loads on finding ways how to do it. One example is Pinotage. We have Pinotage that is again like this like light chillable red, and now Cabernet Sauvignon that is more like fruity and everything. They have like more complex Cabernet Sauvignon as a part of their like other part of their portfolio. But yeah, that's very interesting. And again, exactly as you mentioned previously, who wants another Cab Sauv, like full-bodied blackcurrant Cab Sauv? No one wants it. Like if you want to do it, do something different, and that's what we're trying to do.
This is a Cabernet Sauvignon that people want to drink, rather than a Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc. Cabernet Sauvignon. Done. That's my
It's
new
been a long couple of months.
My new hybrid.
Long
But I think sometimes Cabernet Sauvignon is you buy it because it's got the prestige, it's got the name, and it's what you should be
and it's
drinking.
great with a big steak and a big heavy meal, and it's a great wine.
It's a grape that's got prestige, and the prestige doesn't always match the price point and the style and what you want to drink. And I said to so many people, I want a Cabernet Sauvignon, but I don't want it with the greenness. I'm like, well, you either want a Cab Franc or a Merlot, then you don't actually want a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah,
exactly.
This does the job.
But I think they must have been so careful with the extraction. I think they must have done a lot, like you say, in the early phase, macerate it at cold temperatures, just get some of the flavors coming out of it. But as the alcohol rises, it's very easy to overwork the skin. So I think we should do a little bit of like just quick. What do we mean with extraction? What do we mean with these techniques that are people doing? And apologies if you know all this already, but let's say we've got a big tank full of the grapes and the juice, and the grapes all start to get floating up to the top. So as the carbon dioxide comes out of the fermentation process, it lifts this cap of the grape skins up to the very top of the tank. And you don't want to leave them there. They will overheat, they will go horrible, they will taste disgusting. You want to get them back down into the wine. But the more you sort of work that, it's a bit like dunking a tea bag, of course. You're going to, if you keep working your tea bag into it, you're going to end up with a very tannic cup of tea. And it's exactly the same with that. So there are people who, especially, there are people who do pump overs. They pump the juice.
That is the best comment I've seen tonight.
That is a great comment. That's an excellent comment. So you pump the juice from the bottom of the tank up to the top, sprinkle it over the. Sarah likes that one. Sprinkle it over the top. It just keeps it cool. It keeps it, or you can go really hard with it and pump a lot down. It will swell it all up. Or you can do punch downs where you literally get up on top of the tank and press a big old plunger down into the things. And obviously, the more you do these kind of processes, particularly towards the end of the fermentation process where the alcohol's there, the alcohol's a solvent. It will extract more and more of that stuff out of the skins and can lead to the kind of character that you want from a Cabernet Sauvignon if that's what you're trying to make. If you're going to then age it in oak barrels for 10 years and then put it in a bottle for another, it's going to be that sort of wine that's got lots and lots of tannin, flavor, color, and it can cope with a lot of age and oxygen contact. I think they've been a lot more delicate and gentle with this, and I think it's fascinating. Very cool wine.
So you know what we could do?
What's that?
We could go to the exact other style of Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes, that's what we do. Yay! Let's try it.
I like both.
Yeah, and any other bits you want to add for the last wine, or are you ready to move on, Sarah? We good for that?
I'm very much ready to move on. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. I will give it all to my team, and I will
I do think that comment from George, the people who go, I don't like, and when I do tastings, one of the favorite things I ever hear is someone says, "Oh, I don't usually like XYZ, but this one's okay."
Yeah,
and I think that's really important for people when you're going out and you in a group and there's a wine list. You can say, "Hey, I prefer white, I prefer red, I prefer whatever." But if the group's going for something that's not in your wheelhouse, to have a bit of an opinion to go, well, if we are going to have red, I'd prefer something like this. If we are going to have this, I'd prefer something like that. And I think this is a brilliant wine for that. It's when people go, oh, I want a blue cheese, but I don't want it to be too blue. That's exactly what this wine is. But anyway, we are moving on to the Colonist.
Yeah, this is a very interesting place. First of all, we're still at the Black Sea, but Colonist is absolutely iconic winemakers. In terms of the story behind, they are people coming from Bulgaria, like 200 years ago, escaping like different religions that was ruling the time in Bulgaria and trying to preserve their Christian roots. And then they came to Ukraine, and then it became USSR, and they lost everything again one more time. So those people and biologist, Plachkov, he is like native from Bulgaria, and his grandfather was the first person who came and landed at the Ukrainian shores. And after the Soviet Union crashed, he was like, okay, I want to make something, and I want to come back to the place where my roots are, and to do things that my ancestors wanted to do here in Ukraine. And he was a very successful person in life before that. But like we are Ukrainians, so if we decide to do something, we do things. As part of his exploration and study in the wine world, he went as a third cellar door help person in Champagne, and they didn't know who he is until people came from Ukraine asking him to sign important documents, and they're like, oh my god, man, who are you? Who is this person who is just hanging around and helps whatever is needed to be done? So yeah, Colonist is one of the leading wineries in Ukraine, and all of their wines are very French oriented. For this particular wine, we are talking Bordeaux blend. They do have and did have French winemakers who helped them to establish the whole vineyard and stuff. But also what they do right now, they are taking care of where the bottles are coming from. And their bottles are not just toasted. Their bottles are baked in very gentle ovens to make sure that it not gets too smoky and stuff like that. And this is Bordeaux blend from Ukraine. So we do make traditional styles as well, just to show something to compare with, because you can who knows how indigenous grape varieties should taste, but you know what is Bordeaux blend, and you can have a look and compare Ukrainian Bordeaux blend with anything else.
I like this a lot. I think it's very interesting. We've had some intriguing Bordeaux blends from Eastern Europe over the last few years. What was the was it Bulgarian one that we had?
The
Inera, which had also a little bit of the like old Bordeaux. It had some of the Rhone grapes and a bit of Syrah in it too, and it just really did show that, you know, Bordeaux's not all that special, really. Like, I'm sorry, like heretic here. This is definitely a full-on cab, a big mouthful, absolutely. Oh, and we've got some hilarious notes here,
but
though.
it's
Wine so dark that light cannot escape its surface.
But
That's genius.
It's massive. Yeah, it is an absolutely massive glass of wine. But it's drinkable. It's ready.
So drinkable. Yeah.
It's not undrinkably tannic. It's not, you know, it doesn't dry your mouth out that you don't want any more. There's not, you know, maybe after 2 bottles, maybe some palate fatigue.
Yeah, for sure. But it can go.
But it's got that coffee, that mocha, that cocoa that just rounds it out. So
this is 2020, so we've got 5 years of age on it already.
And it's 95 points from decanter.
95 points from decanter. It's very well deserved indeed.
But
I think
you
actually,
couldn't have 2 different Cabernet Sauvignons, could you?
No.
And I think what we do with the online tasting club, this is the whole point of it. You can't just go, I like cab or I don't. You know, can you say I like Ukrainian cab or I don't like Ukrainian cab?
Can't even say that, no.
Because they're so. But you know, that wine 4 is for one occasion, and this one is for a very different occasion. But they're both brilliant in their own right.
I think this is also a really great demonstrator of that thing we were talking about with the green notes. Now, it was barely there at all in that previous wine, so they must have got the grapes so ripe. And here it is just that gentle little undertone that's freshening it and keeping it exciting and you know, it cuts through with all of the other big flavors that are going on.
So whereabouts are we in the Ukraine right now?
We're again at the Black Sea,
Black
but
Sea.
we are now in one very particular place. If we can go one slide before that.
Yeah, sure.
This is the first Ukrainian PDO, and what I try to share here is that it's not easy to have a PDO. You know, like we all want like many more precise origin of grapes and winemaking and everything, but it comes with many complications for winemakers. So you have to have a lab, a proper lab, not just some lab. You have to make analysis. You have to send it all the time. You have to really prove that your place is quite unique and absolutely different from everything else. And Yalpuch, what we see here on a slide now, it's apparently name of the lake. We're still close to the Black Sea, but we have a lot of influence from this unique lake and unique soils. And this is one of the first official like registered PDOs. And Colonist is one of the wineries that are part of the Yalpuch, same as the last tasting of our red wines on like our last sample today.
So that's really interesting. I feel I should bring up our camera again and show the bottle. So obviously for those who don't read Cyrillic, you may struggle a little with this. I think up the top there it says Koloniste. And then I can't read.
Gum, high gum. This will come in English, I promise you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of the wines that was colonist wines that was stolen because yeah, you read Cyrillic. Well done.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, like they're coming in English. But yeah, like it's also like showing that this is like how the label looked like before it was translated.
I think it's great. So no, it's really interesting. But I didn't see the PDO name on the bottle. Is it so when did that PDO come? Is it quite new?
Yeah, it's more or less new. It's like probably like 7, like it was like it happened before the war, but now it's a bit hard to fully implement and everything. But yeah, like they're part of it. And we have a couple more PDOs and PGI as well coming up soon as well.
That's
Again,
really
it was all on, like, it was all kind of about to happen when the war started, and now it's a bit more complicated, a touch more complicated to make all the sample and soil analysis on the ground and everything.
So what would you be eating with this one? Is it that kind of? I mean, are there some wonderful Ukrainian classics that we would be having with this?
I think I have some pictures on the slide. Maybe
Ah.
not. Maybe not. I don't remember, because I definitely wanted to include it, but I don't remember if I sent it. Yeah, like Ukraine is, if we talk about meat, Ukraine is very meat eating country.
Mhm.
So yeah, like we love pork apparently. Yeah, it's probably in the other presentation,
go
but
on,
the
that's
next time I promise you it will
No, that's
happen.
fine.
We like pork and everything about and around it. I would say that personally, I'm not a I'm pescatarian, so I don't eat meat exactly like
Okay.
often
Probably
nowadays.
not the ideal wine for fish.
But we have like a nice fish dish, which is quite Christmassy as well, which might be part of this stuff. So we have like the small river fish that we bake in the oven in clay little pot together with loads of onions and greens and everything, and loads of sour cream. Because if you are Ukrainian, sour cream goes everywhere. But with all this like little river fish with little bones, because you have like this nice acidity and creaminess from the sour cream. When you bake it, it all melts together and it becomes a very, very nice dish. So personally, I would pair this one with that.
With that's and that's absolutely fascinating, because of all the things that we generally say, like a big bold Cabernet Sauvignon, one of the classic things you'd say is, all right, as long as you avoid like fish, then you're fine. And yet here we have a perfect example too. There are no rules. There are just guidelines, and there are exceptions to everything. So that is absolutely fascinating. And this is a great comment, that the comparison between these two wines is the exact reason why we put on tastings, why you aren't just saying, okay, we'll do this, because it shows the versatility of it, the levels of difference that are possible within the same quite close region to each other and a similar grape variety. So we have a question from Steve, who's saying, how many different PDOs are there in the Ukraine?
We have one that is like registered, and we have a couple more coming, and
Okay.
one PGI area as well. Again, it's hard to say, is it the limited number, or it will continue to grow, because we have to pause on the whole process and it goes a bit slower nowadays. Because in terms of, if you want to like become a PDO, you need a commission that is coming also on the ground and makes all the analysis and everything, and it's all quite complicated nowadays. It's not impossible, but it's not as easy as it
slow
was.
enough at the best of times, isn't it?
Yeah. Slightly higher priorities at the moment in terms of the government's focus. Yeah, absolutely.
Now,
let's have a look
about
in at
how
those
much Merlot did we answer. I think it said it's 50-50 Merlot cab, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just make sure I'm answering all the questions.
Drying tannins, a bit of the signs of age, smooth as silk, and puckery. Isn't that great? Because people's taste buds are so different. There are some people who have infinite. I mean, look at how people take their tea. You know, some people want to dip the tea bag into it. My mother sort of takes a mug of hot water and goes, "Hello, meet a tea bag." There you go. And other people are like, "Let's go for that."
My wife doesn't take the tea bag out of her cup of tea. It just stays while she drinks it. That's how much tea she.
This is the wine for her.
But then again, she is American, so doesn't know how to have a cup of tea.
Did she make it in the microwave?
It's not that bad. It's not that
bad. But I do like the idea of pairing of barbecue brisket with some crispy tobacco onion strings. That sounds great. Goes with all of that sort of chocolate spice and everything.
We need to do this in person with a cook along, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I can see that.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
So are we ready to move to wine 6 and the final wine of the tasting?
I don't want to, but yeah, I think we should. Yeah.
I think it's double special, because first of all, it's our second crossing. And second of all, I think this is ultimate Christmas wine. And this is not my words, but it's all words from people who taste it. So I think it's Christmas in a glass. Let's give it a try. And we are Odessa Black. It's not Odessa, but it's Odessa Black, a crossing that is coming from Odessa region, from the same institute. that develops a Holimansky. I think it's our previous next slide, probably here. I
I will
assume.
pull that up now. In the meantime, we have our food pairing. From
Oh
the
my
recipe.
God! Yeah.
A rack of lamb with sautéed potatoes. Yes, please. Where were we? No, I've gone too far. I think it was back. There we
Yeah,
are.
here we are. Odessa Black.
Odessa Black. Okay, I'm going to get rid of
Alicante
that.
Boucher.
Haha.
Yeah, so this is the grape variety that you will not experiment with swirling too much because it's a tinted grape variety. Majority of grapes, as we know, like black grapes, have still white juice, but this one has red juice itself. So even if it's light and cheerful, you will still have quite a lot of color there. So be careful with your white t-shirts.
What is, oh my goodness me. There's something which I really, really recognize. I can't identify it at the moment. I think it's time to taste it. Smakute.
Thank you. Yeah, that's an interesting grape variety. We are struggling a little bit now with it in terms of like finding the perfect balance because even though it's a crossing and it does like have benefits, it's a bit more resistant to diseases and things like that, but it has this very sensitive place of phenolic ripeness versus sugar accumulation. And it's always a trick to find the perfect place when you will pick up the grapes and also perfect extraction. But as I told you, extraction is on for like a big focus in Ukraine right now. And I think this one is probably the best examples we have so far of not just nicely extracted, but also properly aged Odessa Black that takes oak not too seriously. So it's not overpowering it or not like sticking too much out for me personally.
I'm obsessed with this smell that I can't.
This is I'm getting
it's
again,
unreal, isn't it?
I'm getting
It's like-
against going. It's kind of like something from somewhere else.
It's not
But
like nothing.
this
Yeah.
reminds me of American Zinfandel.
Really?
Yeah. That rich fruit, that little bit of
Yeah.
spice, that jamminess.
Yeah, I see. I get that. Yeah.
But not the same alcohol levels. That's what we
No,
want.
that's
No,
true.
I think it's time to try and compare acidities here as well. I think like, yeah, Zin can lose acidity quite quickly and is big and powerful and everything, but it can be a problem. And also Zin accumulates sugar quite quickly.
This
I
is
think
not
here we are,
lost.
yeah, we are a bit like less sugary.
It's got this lovely chocolatiness about it. It's got this great roundness, but the finish is just forever.
Plum pudding, I like it.
There's
So-
a spice. There's a
So this is it's 2019 vintage, okay, and yes, it's drinkable now. How long would something like this age for? Is this peak drinking time? Would you leave it longer? What do you think?
That's a good question. And I think this is part of emerging wine regions because we don't know. We don't have those amazing cellars like in Bordeaux when you can track down the vintages up to 100 years. So we still experiment. We are probably like around 30 years into winemaking of this and making it better and better. This one shows like nearly 6 years, which makes us really happy. I would definitely leave it and see how it will behave. Do I know how it will behave? I don't know, unfortunately. I can see potential as a WACD educator. We have a sufficient acidity, we have sufficient concentration of aromas and flavors. That is the most important part. How long it will keep it, that's a big question. I think personally that at least for the next 5 years, we can explore different depths of Odessa Black from this particular vintage.
It's fascinating because, of course, there is one cellar in Ukrainian wine which probably does have all of the age on it and and certainly a good number of bottles. But the Russians have nabbed that, haven't they?
Yeah, the Trubetskoy, Prince Trubetskoy one.
Yeah, so there is a winery in Crimea which has got, I think, more than 1 million bottles in its cellar.
Oh, this one is different. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but it famously made these super sort of sweet aged wines and
Massandra.
yes, thank you. That was it, Massandra. Yeah, I think obviously we talk about this slightly in the brochure, but dessert wines, fortified wines used to be a big part of Ukraine's wine production. Was that mostly around Crimea, or was that more widespread across the country?
I would say Crimea and apparently a little bit around Zakarpattia region, which is like western part of Ukraine.
Okay.
But again, like, yeah, unfortunately, we cannot discuss a lot Crimean story right now because we don't know what is happening there for the last 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's crazy to think that, you know, we just allowed this to happen in 2014, and yeah, so much of the wine scene there. But what's great is that the rest of Ukraine is responding and is now coming out and is creating the new story. And I think it's a really, really exciting story. And I think this is a really exciting wine. It's not like anything I've ever. I think it's just because it's so different that.
What's the oak regime on this? Because there's definitely a decent amount of oak on it.
Yeah, I think if we can go like in one of the slides, we have a little bit more like visual info about that wine, probably like a couple of back. This is like the winery itself. And this one spent around like from 9 to 1 year in oak, but it's different age ones. So you have like probably not more than 20% of the new oak, and then second and third age oak, and then they blend together. But I think maybe it will be interesting to see like probably like I'm showing quite often from the same winemaker Odessa Black without any oak, and then it's a bit more obvious like what is oak in this wine and what is just like this depth of the grape itself. Maybe it's something to explore next time.
I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind from Zinfandel to
a well-preserved library
to Rioja.
Rioja, yeah, there is
Rioja.
Yeah,
and that was kind of why I asked the oak question. I'm like, does it sit because of that oak? Would it age depending on the oak, whether like a Crianza, like a Reserva, or like a Grand Reserva, depending on the oak regime on this grape? I might be completely wrong, but that was kind of what kind of ran through my head.
That is very interesting. I will share this with winemaker. I'm actually like genuinely excited about it as well. That's a very good idea. Yeah, to have this comparison of different oak agings. Thank you. It's extremely useful.
There is this herbiness for me that I can't get over. Someone said pine smoke. I think that's quite an interesting description. And also that cough mixture kind of thing, and not in a bad way at all. It's absolutely fascinating, absolutely lovely. But again, how many different notes have we got in this? Cigar, leather. The
tasting notes have been absolutely brilliant.
They've been brilliant. Tonight. Well done, everybody.
But you can only have brilliant tasting notes if you've got brilliant wines. If you have it tastes of lemon and water, you get lemon and water. You can't make things up.
No.
And it is. I just think this length and breadth of the wines, and different people. And there's some positive tasting notes, some things that people might see as positive that I don't see as positive, but that's okay. But yeah, there's absolutely brilliant wines. So. I think we're gonna get to the stage. Alex is trying to get some pictures up.
I think
he loves a picture.
I do love a picture. Well, we've had an interesting question, which is like, I think we've looked at the wine region map here, which I'll pull up again now, and the areas in blue are obviously the classic. The darker blue is the classic wine regions. The lighter blue is where it's developing, and as you can see up near Kyiv, what is really interesting is if you think about, there's been all these years of conflict now. How does that translate to where the conflict's happening? It's predominantly in the east. The most recently contested bit is the Donbass region. Crimea was obviously horrifically captured in like you say around 10 years ago. But I think if I pull up this map here, which is just about to appear. Processing. There we go. You can see how so much of the country there, the Kherson region down in the south has been obviously very heavily contested. That's on the Black Sea there. Odessa is a little bit to the west of the Kherson region, if I'm right. I think that's correct to say. But how much of the wine has been where is the wine recently produced? Well, again, we can see it on that original map. Most of those wine regions are on now on the west side of the country, and not so much been affected. But again, down in Kherson and the Donbass, that's been affected quite badly in the war. So yeah.
I'm very sorry. I'm not exactly sure where this picture comes from, but we don't have Russians close to Kiev as it shows here. It's
Oh, I
probably a
think
bit
that was in the
like,
early phases
yeah,
of the war, wasn't it?
when the beginning of everything. But yeah, like what is happening in Ukraine right now? Like first of all, you have like Ukraine is quite a continental country, so the more east you go, the colder it gets there, and like closer to Russia and everything. And also we have to talk about soils and everything else there as well. Like historically, east was the place for more like mining. We have quite many important places there, like for different like minerals and stuff like that. As we did see on the historical like development of Ukraine, when everything was more or less okay and industrialization happened, we did have emerging regions in Kherson and not in Kherson, sorry, in Kharkiv and Donetsk region. Now it's not very feasible for obvious reasons, but those places where wine is growing, it is still growing. It's not just sustained. New vineyards are planted. They're quite often named after fallen sommeliers and fallen winemakers during the war, but wines are getting in. We have nursery in Ukraine, but we also get like wines from outside, exported from different places. Depends on the need of the winery. And yeah, like we're planting, not just growing. We are planting and replanting, and harvest is happening. It's not easy, but it's part of life. And this is like this very drastic contrast you can see now in Ukraine. You have that happening nearly every day probably, but also you have a lot of life and a lot of like, you enjoy it when you have it. You don't stop, you don't sit down, you don't wait, you just do things.
I think it's the image of the growing sunflowers that always just strikes me. The yellow sunflowers against the blue sky, new life coming from old. It's so evocative. I am just so full of respect for the whole of the Ukrainian wine industry, for how it is grasping life. Like you say, here it is. You've only got one of them. Let's do it, and let's make something that tastes amazing and is world class, absolutely world class. And I think that's what tonight has shown us, is that this isn't. We're not just tasting wines because they're from Ukraine. It's not a charity case. This is genuinely brilliant stuff. And I'm so proud that we've had you here to help show all the people, and all the people are going to watch this on the video afterwards as well, the hundreds of taster packs that are out there, who have never tried a Ukrainian wine and now sit here and know, wow, this is good, this is great. So yeah.
So let's have a last look at the
Okay.
tasting notes. But what I think we're going to do is we're going to go to our quiz. You know
it's
what?
an end of the year quiz. It's not a Ukrainian
quiz.
No.
It's an end of the year quiz because I decided to do that today. But we'll go to the quiz. But what's really important is if you've got any final questions for Sarah, because she will be able to answer them much better than we'll ever be able to answer, get them in the chat. We'll do the quiz.
We'll do the wines of the night first.
We'll do the quiz first. I moved it around.
You've moved it around. Oh, okay. All right.
So we'll do
Before we go, I just wanted to say thank you so very much. And again, like, thank you for all the help from the bottom of my heart. My mom is in Ukraine, and I know how much love Ukrainian people have for Britain, for all the support and for keeping the word and for being and holding our backs. It means loads, absolutely loads. I just could not stop. Like, I just couldn't leave all this tasting without saying it today. Thank you so very much. So like, Ukrainians absolutely see it and love it and so much appreciate it.
It looks like we want to do another Ukrainian wine tasting next year. Would you come and host again with us?
Absolutely, I would love to. Thank you. Oh my God, I will be honored. Thank you.
Let's jump onto the quiz quickly. See if anyone's got any final questions, and then we'll come back and we'll say goodbye to everyone.
We'll do that. We'll do that. So sorry, you're going to have to sit through our quiz, but so again, if you haven't joined the Slido for tasting notes, do it now. Scan the QR code. You can play along, Sarah, as well if you like, but don't really have to. So as people join up, we've got some questions that just go back after the last 12 months and some of the things that we've done. And
you get points for being right. You get points for being quick. Whoever is the top scorer at the end, we will give you the opportunity to send January's tasting, which is going to be our back to school tasting, to a friend or family member who you think might quite like to be a part of it. So
what is a back to school tasting, other than the fact that the kids are going back to school finally after the Christmas holidays?
To be confirmed.
To be confirmed. No, right. Okay, well, we're doing 6 topics, 6 interesting wine school topics that we will be covering over the course of 2026. I still can't believe we're in year 2026.
So I'm going to give people 10 seconds and then we're going to start the quiz.
But yeah, so it's going to be, we'll pick a topic of like biodynamics or whatever it is, and we'll do one for that. So 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Okay. What is the only completely single varietal tasting that we did this year? Was it Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, or Gamay? I will let you do your things. But it has been a really interesting selection of wines.
The wines have been brilliant.
They've been really great.
Can I tell you,
with so full of character.
I'm going to tell you, so we'll continue this quiz, but I was at Wine Alive and tasted through a lot of the Ukrainians. We could have had 6 different wines.
We really could. We really could.
But anyway, Chardonnay was the correct answer.
Chardonnay was the correct answer. So next question.
Oh, we've got to see who's in the lead.
Oh yes, Harry's in the
quick.
lead.
George not quite as quick.
And what we mean by what number show is this?
How many live
shows have we done?
The Online Wine Tasting Club.
Yeah. 88, as in miles an hour. I'm going to go and see the Back to the Future show in London tomorrow.
Finn doesn't do quizzes.
Finn doesn't do quizzes. Happy Christmas.
He just does food pairings.
He does food pairings very well. Very well indeed. The answer to that question is 105. Very, very many people got that right. I think they probably remember the 100th tasting.
Show, so, it's not been that long.
Not been that long. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So Harry remains in the lead, but George is closing in.
Second in.
Joanna's not far behind. Oh, this is all very tight. So in today's A to Z of Wine advent calendar / gift set, some are still available. We do still, for the first year, we had enough packaging because we'd ordered a new set of packaging. So we do actually have a few left over. So if you know someone who loves wine
and just wants like
24 glasses of wine that are A to Z wine, there are some available. What was today's wine? Was it Piedmont? Cazzatelli? Yes, the majority have got it right. It was our Cazzatelli, which means that you had your advent calendar, which is great.
Terrain is tomorrow.
Terrain is tomorrow. Yeah, but there's a story to that. Which country?
Topical. I read the news.
Which country this week has announced that they have now officially reached a temperature which is cold enough for them to make ice wine? Is it Germany, Austria, Canada?
What I'm hoping is there's not more than one, because I only read the news about one country.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Could be all of them.
Well, yeah, but one of them certainly did.
One of them definitely.
That one.
At least one.
At least one.
Which one did Jamie read about?
Which one did Jamie read about? Oh my gosh, this is going to be interesting.
There's a big jump for New Zealand.
Because it was Germany with 5%.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I knew it was chilly there when my wife went a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, it's shaking things up. So we've got our new
KWV. Everyone loved the Tempranillo. Everyone loved those wines. It was a brilliant tasting. But we have just got we only got 12 bottles of it.
Yeah.
Of their new limited edition Cabernet Sauvignon. How many do they make?
They've also won the best Petit Verdot in South Africa recently. They won a prize for their Pinotage.
They can't stop winning awards.
They just can't stop winning awards. It's fantastic. There's only a few questions left. I don't know what the answer to this one is. Lots of people went for 1,000. They were right.
Which was less than last year. The Tempranillo was 1,300 bottles.
Oh, Harry's storming away with it now. So we'll go on to the next question. Which of these countries? Oh, right, show off. Bloody hell.
Where have I not been?
Where have you not been? Uruguay, Chile, Spain, England. Well, I know you've been to England. But Sussex, Leighton Buzzard isn't in Sussex. Or Alsace in France. Which one do we wish you would know? I'm joking. The answer. Oh, yes. The majority just about got it. Alsace, because he
you
did
know
that
what?
last
That was
year.
last year.
Yeah. Right,
Oh my word.
quickly on to the next
How
one.
many-
Dario's in the lead. Oh my gosh, it's all change. So we did a wine
Spanish
in our
tasting
Spanish tasting,
in
and there was a
January.
Petit Manseng from Enero.
What
Now,
style
what
was
kind
it?
of style of wine was that in
That
January?
was
If you
nearly-
remember all
nearly
that
a
far
year
back.
ago.
Classic wine for Spain for sure. Was it sparkling, light red, ice wine?
The
or
question
an
is,
oak
Mr.
white?
Taylor, can you remember?
I think I've got a vague clue on
It's
this one.
what, one of those four answers?
One of those four, yeah. The answer was, it was, oh, wow, okay. It was an ice wine from Spain, yes.
It was a Spanish ice
indeed.
wine.
And so, as we found out, you can make a deep-bodied Bordeaux-style Cab Sauv from Ukraine. You can make an ice wine in
But only
Spain.
6% got that.
Oh, Harry's back.
in.
And how many bottles of wine have we opened and turned into samples just during the last 3 months for the Christmas period? Now, remember, each bottle of wine gets opened by hand. It gets sniffed and checked to make sure it's not corked or damaged in any way, and then gets put into our machinery to turn into
Beautiful pouches for you
beautiful
lovely
pouches.
people.
How many bottles did we open? Was it 100, 500, or
Is it the
1,000?
actual answer, or what did it feel like?
The actual answer of what it felt like is a lot higher than anything on that list. I'll tell you that for a fair. Yeah, it was indeed 25,000 bottles of wine. We have a lot of corks in our warehouse that are getting recycled. Harry is in the lead. Last question, mercifully, what's Jamie drinking with his turkey this year? I think there's got to be a new option on this list, which is a Baker's orange Arcazzatelli, because I think that might be coming home with me. I don't know if my father's on this quiz or not, but I'm going to bring one home. So we've got Rosé, Pinot Noir, Chateauneuf, Auslese Riesling, which he likes to have with steak famously, or whatever his mum lets him drink. For anyone who knows Jamie's mum, you've got the answer right. Exactly.
Do as I'm
She's
told.
in charge.
Do
Do as
as
you're
I'm
told.
told.
Congratulations, Harry. You got the answer right.
Pop us
Brilliant.
an email. Let us know
Yeah.
who you want to send a tasting to.
So we will.
Let's pop up wines of the night.
Yep.
And I just want to say, if you want to get some wine, order it from us. We've got a little bit of everything. But Sarah, if people want more Ukrainian wine, you have a website as well, don't you?
Oh, I think we're on mute.
We
Sorry.
have online shop, and we also had some we'd have our wines in some small in indigenous wine shops, and we have some at our small wine merchants. But majority, all of our portfolio, is easy to get from the online wine shop at ukrainianwinecompany.com.
Brilliant.
.co.uk.
I'll pop it in the chat. That's a very googly link. Okay, I don't want that bit. uawines.co.uk, is that you?
Yes, that's us. Thank you.
There we go. Brilliant. People are still voting, so I'm not going to put the price up yet. This is very, very tight. Oh my gosh.
Exciting. I'm so excited to see.
So just as we dive in the last 30 seconds while they vote, and then we can let everyone get on with their evening. What do you see being, next for Ukrainian wine? What's the next big things that you think we're going to see? Is there a style? Is there an upcoming region? And what should we look out for?
That's a very good question. Thank you.
That's probably more than 30 seconds, isn't it?
I will try to make it quick. It's an amazing question, and I think we kind of touched on it a bit when we were talking about Odessa Black. And I've been asked it during my tastings, especially when we talk about potential to age. I really hope that in the next 5-10 years we will not have any questions about do Ukrainian wines have potential to age, and we mean aging in a continuing to develop interesting aromas and flavors over time. And I hope we will have a good question on how long those wines can age, and maybe longer than we even can expect. And I definitely hope that we will continue our indigenous and our crossings. They are unique. They showed really well, much better than many other crossings I know. I probably can say comparatively to Pinotage, as in terms of how much it's known. Thank you, Daria, for your comment. Thank you very much. It's very kind. And I think this is our main focus, to keep doing what we are doing, and to make more people try Ukrainian wine and enjoy it, and pair it with fantastic foods, and share some really special stories that we have in Ukraine, not only from modern times, but from the whole story of us.
Yeah, I think particularly when you look back to those ancient times with the monasteries and everything like that, and even before the Greeks were coming in as well, it's absolutely fascinating, and there's so much to explore. So yeah, thank you for the great end of year tasting. Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
Heroyam Slava, exactly. What else have we got? Thank you, Sarah, for a great tasting. We should have a look and see what the winner is. Oh, right. Yeah. Do you know what? I could. We talked about this beforehand. There are no weak wines on any of this at all, but there is a very clear winner, actually, a very clear winner, and it is just peeked its head over the top, and it's the Colonist Eau de Gamme. So really fascinating. That's very cool.
Do you want to pop the prices up so you can
we
see
should put the prices
how
up.
much a Colonist Eau de
How much
Gamme
the
is?
Colonist Eau de Gamme is? There we go.
That's why it's the winner. Not
There you
that it's always the thing,
but
but if you look,
everything's in that sweet spot.
But if you look at the unoaked one, you can have 2 bottles of that, and that's what I'm all
Smart.
about.
There
Exactly.
you go.
So the wines are available from us. They're available from Ukrainian Wine Company.
Yeah.
And
along with a whole range of other Ukrainian wines.
And we will, me and Sarah will talk in the new year about when we're going to next do our next Ukrainian tasting to get more, because there is so much more to explore. But Sarah, any final thoughts before we let everybody go? I think it's been a brilliant tasting, and thank you so much for your time. But any last words of wisdom before we let everybody go?
Thank you so much for this tasting. It was such an inclusive and amazing interaction, even though like we are all sitting in front of our computers, but I felt a part of community so much. Thank you. It was like a really like proper Christmassy vibe here. Thank you so much, guys, for everything. It was so fun and amazing. And thank you for all your amazing feedback. I'm extremely excited. I have so many ideas what else we can share, and yeah, like it's special than 1 hour 41 minutes, and we still have ideas to continue exploring. Thank you so much, and thank you again for inviting me. I'm so grateful, and I had such an amazing
So it has been such a pleasure and a privilege to have you. I want to say дуже щиро дякую. Is that
Дякую дуже. Your pronunciation is fantastic. I'm like, it's oh my god, like thank you.
Let's get out to Ukraine. Let's film some stuff in the vineyards.
We will do, yes.
Let's get some drones and maybe even stop the war. That would be great. And
to everyone who's put up with us.
Yeah, and the other one last thing. So as we've said, if you are buying the wine through us, we're going to be donating 10% of profits to United 24, which is the official government platform. You can go on that and you can choose where, if you want to support defense, if you want to support humanitarian aid or like demining, there's all sorts of things, medical. So yeah, the war is still ongoing. We want to give as much support as we can. But buying the wines is a great way of supporting Ukrainian winemakers and the people who are out there risking their lives and making amazing, exciting, exhilarating, innovative wines. So huge thanks to you all for coming, and we look so forward to the next year of other amazing tastings. And
absolutely, I'm shocked to say that is the end of 2025, and really excited. Thank you for everyone who supported us. Thank you for everyone who's dealing with us with our tastings and listening to us yabber on about wine for a year. I can't believe we've been doing this 5.5 years now, and we've got past our 100th show. But it's been brilliant, and there's going to be many more exciting things in 2026. So have a wonderful evening, wonderful holidays, Christmas, whatever you're celebrating, and we'll see you all in 2026.
A very Merry Christmas to you all, and good night.